Well, today I've got something a little special for you. We're out here at Central State, or what's left of it. They've torn down quite a bit. However, we've got some buildings left. The pathology building, the cafeteria. There's a dining hall that, oddly enough, has been restored as a dining hall that people can rent for weddings and other things like that. And there's also the powerhouse, and then there's the another building that that had storage for groceries and other items for the patients out here. Of course, as you might expect, the reason why I'm out here is because everybody in this town knows that Central State is haunted. So, without further ado, let's begin. Oh, wait a minute. I want to give a shout out of thanks to Sarah Halter. She's the executive director out here, and thankfully she's a very kind, patient, and generous person, and she allowed me to go out here and film this. So I want to thank her, and I also would like to encourage you to get a hold of the people out here. And you can set up an appointment to observe the pathology building. It is literally a time capsule. The building is as it always was. The insides are as they always were. It's just absolutely an incredible place. And this is the Indiana Medical History Museum. And that's Sarah M. Halter. She's the executive director. And the address is 3045 West Vermont Street. And that's Indianapolis, Indiana, of course. And she can be reached at 317-635-7329. Or same area code, 635-7449 is the fax number. And you can contact this place at www.imhm.org. That's www.imhm.org. And they would be glad to set you up with an appointment to tour the building. And that's how they do it, by appointment only. So anyway, let's start with our tour of the haunted Indiana Central State Mental Hospital grounds, or what's left of them.
One other item, don't forget to go to asaswift.com and check out the links to my books.
Well, they also have free garden tours, as you can see. I'll get a little closer in case you can't see that. Of course, you can always pause the video. It's a little hard to see my screen out here in the bright sunlight. Now the bronze plaque, unfortunately, that's pretty hard to read. I'll see if we can get anything from it. Indiana's first medical center and oldest medical amphitheater. The building was used for medical education by Medical College of Indiana, 1896 to 1905, Central College of Physicians and Surgeons, 1896 to 1905, Medical Department, Purdue University, 1905-1906, State Medical College, 1906 and 1906, Indiana University School of Medicine, 1908 to 1956, registered the National Landmark under the U.S. Department of Interior, April 25th, 1972. I'll also show you the sign on the door. And again, pause the video if you need that information. Here's the limestone block indicating what the building is. As you can see, 1895. Well, let's see this place. This is where the food and other items were stored for the patients. This also happens to be where my former police department, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, who I worked for over 30 years, keeps their horses presently, and has for quite a few years. We'll take a peek inside. This would have been more employees, I would imagine. I can't imagine that they would have had any patients in here for any reason, even to help. But I could be wrong. Back in the day, who knows? We're gonna have to have a little bit of light to see. Well, considering there's no power in this building, I won't be going downstairs. It's a large building. Although the floor is safe in this building, it's solid, not wood. Not so with some of the other buildings. Don't know whether that was black paint or a fire. Well, if there are any ghosts in here, I don't think the Glock on my hip is going to help me any. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. It's too bad that there's no power. I don't even know if it's flooded. I don't know if it's dry or not. But you can see, but this was a storage place. There's garage doors there. This was a storage place for food items for the entire campus. And this is a huge campus. Much of it is taken up now by high-rise apartment buildings. I would imagine these faded lines on the floor are probably where loaded pallets would go, indicate their proper place. Yeah, I think this is going to be considered fire. That's burnt wood right there. That couch is all burnt. More than likely homeless or teenagers. But yeah, this place is definitely on fire. What are all those plastic envelopes? Those are plastic knife and fork envelopes. Now the powerhouse can't get in really because there's so many holes in the floor. But I'll show you as much as I can. Now here, see, this is you can see, look at what the damage the fire did. Melted these stainless steel panels, or warped them. But this is what was left of the refrigerator or freezer. There's another refrigeration or freezer unit. And another one, or the other side over there. Oh, that's a separate one. Probably one for dairy and the other for meats and vegetables. Something like that. Looked like they might have had, those are compressors there. Looks like definitely compressors. Not sure what for. Probably a small little office. See if I can fit through here. You can see where the smoke come out of that window and stained the bricks and burnt the paint. You know, I see places like this and I think, wouldn't it have been amazing to see this place in operation? And actually, had I had the mind to, I guess I could have. I came here in Indianapolis in 1977, but I don't know if they just let just anybody come in here and take a look. Well, we're going to head over to the powerhouse now. Put my shades down. Here we go. There's a sign. Service and well, it looks like it might have even been painted over at one time. Yeah, it's been painted over. Something house. Yeah. That's too bad you can't see what it was. Something house. Storehouse maybe, I don't know. There's my former department's vehicles for the horses. I stopped in but didn't find anybody around. Now this right here is the old powerhouse. And this building supplied the heat. Of course, there wouldn't have been air conditioning. Supplied the heat for the campus. And of course, it was coal-fired. And whether I can show it to you or not, I don't know, because there's so many holes in the floor in this place. But the conveyor that carried the coal into the furnace was still there, although it's just all rust. This place is falling apart. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but I've been told by several people that for whatever reason, the powerhouse is the most haunted building on the property. Maybe that means today it is because the other buildings are gone. I don't know. But the building that my department trained in when we were the Indianapolis Police Department before we became Metro Police, as soon as these school shootings came out, we started active shooter training. And one of the very first place that I trained, and maybe the department too, was in some of the resident buildings on the property. Those are long gone now, of course. But when I went in, I definitely got the feeling that we weren't alone. Nothing happened, didn't see anything, but it's hard to explain. The vibes of the place were just creepy. I've never felt anything like it before or since, and it's just hard to describe. I mean, it could be just, you know, emotions, fear of something being in there. And the reason I say that is because I happen to believe and know I'm Roman Catholic, so we're very well educated in that area, that places of misery and suffering, as this place was, attract dark things. They attract what are called inhumans, and what some folks call shadow people. What shadow people are, I don't know. They've been described as little devils from hell, I guess. I've never seen a shadow person, but I think that was probably in the back of my mind. And it's still possible, whether it's daytime or nighttime, that if you come to places like this, you could be followed home. Especially by somebody who's passed away and who lived their lives out here, because again, this was a huge mental hospital full of all kinds of different illnesses and psychosis. So it wouldn't be the first time that it happened, I can tell you that. Seem to hear about it more graveyards and well, places like this. Now see, here's the coal. What's left of coal. And you could shovel that up and make gunpowder out of it, or put it in a furnace. It burns still. And here's the railroad tracks. These tracks would bring in the cars to unload their coal. Now, as you can see, I still got my light on. I forgot to turn it off. I got more batteries. The floors are gone, so I can't go in here, and most of this building is this way. I think that's an old refrigerator, yeah. I don't know whether this place lost its roof sooner than the others or what, because not all the buildings that are left are in this kind of shape. Looks like that's some air hose right there. I gotta be careful not to step on nails out here. I don't need another tetanus shot. Well, at least they're collecting the bricks that the buildings fall apart from. I'm not sure about this building. Obviously, it's not as old. It's hard to tell, though, the age, but it's definitely not as old. Who knows, 50s, 40s, maybe 30s. The original hospital, which was a huge, giant, ornate building, and I believe it was red brick also, but it was very beautiful at one time. It was torn down in the 1970s, and I think that was after the the more modern residents. I don't know. They kind of look like a puzzle or X's, I guess, more like it. And they did kind of look like from the 70s, so I would imagine that once they had those built, that's when they tore it down. I wouldn't think that they'd have to do something with the patients. Here's the other side of the powerhouse. They've got this chained off, and it's a good thing because people going through this could get hurt very easily. See, that's a big explanation right there. All the windows are all busted out. So you got rain and water get in there. Decades of that just rotted the wooden floors. And the wooden floors were supported by more wood instead of steel beams, so there wasn't anything to hold them up. I have no idea what the hell that is. Maybe a heater of some kind? That's another thing. You see that down there? There are tunnels all over this place. Anybody want to go down there by themselves and spend some time? Those are notoriously haunted as well. I know people who've been down there. Now this building here was a cafeteria, and this was built in the 50s, 1950s. And in the basement, the executive director told me, Sarah told me, that in the basement was a library. This building over here, we'll go over there, was built in 1899, and it's the restored building that can be rented for weddings and or parties or whatnot. There was another one just like it, but they tore it down, and I think the reason why was it was much worse shape. I saw this building before they renovated it, and I think they power washed those bricks, because some of the bricks, they just look like brand new, and they're definitely not from 1899. So and they replaced the gutter with copper, brand new copper guttering. So, and you can see it's got a skylight too. But we'll go over there in a minute. We'll finish this powerhouse tour. Smell chemicals, and you can see the roof through this grate here. Trying to think where I stepped in this building at one time. There was an open door, and as soon as you looked inside, there was a big hole in the floor. And I think, yeah, that was it right there. You can see it's boarded up, so it's obviously, I'm sure it's probably much worse since the time I've been in there. But that's where I looked in, and when you look in there, you can see the old conveyor belt. but I'm sure it's much more dangerous than it ever was. It's too bad. Oh, here we go. This is the coal operation here. Yeah. There's a big smokestack. Somebody's tried to look in there. Buffalo heavy duty fan. Oh, this thing pivoted. It's bearing an axle. Huh. Wouldn't you like to see this in operation? I wouldn't trust those old catwalks. Ladder seems to be okay. It's a lot thicker. Well, I'm doing this for you guys, certainly not for me. Oh, is that a dead rat? No, I'm not sure about that is. I don't think I've ever seen the chains up before to block off a window. I'm not sure what good that's doing. Again, that's the pathology building. The one behind it is where we were just at, the storehouse. I'm not sure what that would be. If anybody wants to comment, taking a guess. Obviously it had something to do with the coal or water supply. Well, I don't know. What is that? There's a chute at the bottom. I don't know. Don't know. Ancient technology. That's for sure. Well, as you can see, the building built in the 50s. It's not all that interesting. It still is a cafeteria for kids and other venues. You can see they've got a tent back there, so who knows what somebody's rented it for or preparing it for. But yeah, built in the 50s. Dime a dozen. I mean, it looks 1950s easy. I was hoping we could get in the powerhouse, but that's too bad. But we might be able to. The director said that the building from 1899 might be open. She wasn't sure. Not sure what building that was. We can go in there and ask, see if anybody knows. Nice old car. Ah, yay. I smell paint. I see a lock on the door with a key. I think that's called a clue. But plenty of windows in there, we can look inside. Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty good view. Now the Sarah did tell me that the tile you see in there is the original tile from 1899. The cliche, they don't make them like they used to, comes to mind. Surprised they haven't started turning green yet, these copper gutters. You know, I think we'll go around the other way because that's the back side of the building, not nearly as interesting as the front. I would have used the flying camera mount today, but I got a big heavy gum belt on, and that thing's heavy too. That's all I need is more weight. Look at the chandeliers. I don't know if you can see them or not. It's a window with reflection on the windows. Is it haunted? I don't know, it beats me. I know the grounds are. Another old building that's been renovated. Well, except for the steps. Those might need a little work, I think. But you can see the rest outside of the building has been. It's got new windows, or clean windows anyway. These are old wooden frames, but they might be new glass. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's being used for storage, obviously, and some other things. We've got one last building. I'm going to check on it, see what I can find out about it. Last time I was here, I didn't go that far. I had two little boys with me, or my sons. They're big grown men now. But at the time, I was out here for, I'm not sure what. It was a police business of some kind. I was off duty. But that's when we were able to look into the powerhouse when it was open, or when at least that entrance was open. I'll tell you a story. Don't know whether it's true or not. It was a book I was reading about, I don't know, ghost stories or haunted houses or something or other. But at night, this place used to be gated. It was whole entire campus, all residences and hospital. They were a self-contained unit. And this was all surrounded by fence. And I remember seeing it that way a long time ago. And they had a security guard and a guardhouse at the gate. And one night, in the middle of the morning, I don't know what time, it's a late shift or graveyard shift, he saw an elderly woman in a long white gown run out of the gate and onto Washington Street, I guess. It might have been one of the side streets. I think it was the main gate, so that would have been, I believe it would have been Washington Street. And as she got to the middle of Washington Street, she just faded away, disappeared. And I'm sure that if there's any security guards left from this place, orderlies, whatever, that they would have plenty of very strange tales to tell. And I would imagine they would have their own ghost stories, because this place is very, very old. And if you can leave any comments, keep it respectful, because these people out here that lived and died here, spent their lives here, they were people. And when this place started running down, those people started being mistreated, neglected. There were murders out here by other patients, suicides, all kinds of inexcusable stuff, and I won't go into detail about that. But they lived their lives out here, and they died out here. And they were people. It wasn't their fault that something was wrong with their brain. And medicine in those days just didn't know. And so they were kind of warehoused. No one knew what else to do with them. So be respectful of those who lived and died here. Anyway, let's see if we can find out what's going on with this building. You happen to know what building this was at one time?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Nope. There's a sign up there. The workers might, but I don't work here
Yeah.
every day. But there's a sign on there that says when it was built. I think it was 1894.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's 1895 down there.
Oh, yeah, it was when it was
Yeah.
finished, yeah. But it doesn't say anything about what the building was.
Huh.
So I'm not sure, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is.
The whole area.
Oh, here, 1894, 1895.
Yeah. And there's a sign on the inside, but yeah, it says who the architects were and stuff. But
Huh.
I don't see what the building is.
What is this now? What's going on here now?
So it's an industrial arts kind of building. So they do like what we just did. We're just wrapping this bridge, but it's a pedestrian bridge,
Uh-huh.
and it's just huge, beautiful. So yeah, I mean, really cool industrial stuff, but like pieces of art.
Huh.
The indie signs with the lady dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do those things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very cool.
Huh. Well, I'll ask guys in here, see if any of them know. Yeah, 1894. Maybe that's when they started on it. And 1895. Boy, I was off, wasn't I? I was way off. Don't suppose you happen to know what this building used to be at one time?
The laundry building.
This was the laundry building. Oh, okay. Now this place looks like it's built a lot more substantial than the other buildings. Probably why it's still here. Yeah, the powerhouse has got wooden floors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're not there anymore.
This floor isn't in the best shape, but at least it was poured.
Yeah.
And I think the big part of it is
Oh, yeah.
all the angle iron, you got riveted,
Yeah, that's a hell of a strong roof right there, buddy. Huh. Okay. Well, that answers my question. Thank you, sir. The laundry building. Okay. Well, obviously, with a huge campus, the many people out here that were certainly need a building this size to do all the sheets, pillowcases, gowns, socks, underwear, all that stuff, towels. Now, I didn't want to give you some spiel off of a book I found or something on the internet. You know, if viewers want that, they can get on the internet and look up Central State Hospital in Indianapolis and do that. But I just wanted to make it more personal. Now, I think we about covered everything. Again, don't just come out here. Ask permission. That's what I did. Don't break into buildings. Shouldn't have to be said, but it is. But it needs to be because it happens all the time. Again, I'd like to thank Sarah M. Halter of the Indiana Medical History Museum. She's the executive director, and if you didn't catch it, I named the website, and that's www.imhm.org. And you can check that website. That'll give you a lot more information, maybe more than I have. It's too bad that other building was torn down in the 1970s because it was gorgeous. And there are pictures of it on the internet, so you can see what it was. And it was huge. But it was falling apart and in disrepair. And I don't think that... I think they outgrew it. The population increased. There's some more things, and I'll point to out this way. And it's just really the area. That's where some of the buildings were, the new buildings built in the 70s that they tore down. But I remember going by here. It might have been in the 70s, and seeing some of the people out here on the lawn walking, and they were in pajamas or whatever. Some of them would be sitting on benches, and that was just driving by on Washington Street in one of the side streets. Who knows which one? That was a long time ago. But yeah, this has been our tour of what's left of haunted Central State. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to bring you more such videos. I like to show you in the daytime so you can see everything. You come out here at night. Of course, this is more scary, but you don't get to see as much. And so I wanted to offer something a little different to see the buildings. And I can tell you this: just because it's daytime doesn't mean you won't see something. Because really, it doesn't matter day or night. Weird things happen. So anyway, be sure to hit that like button. Share it for me. That'll help. And set a reminder for the next videos. And I thank you for tuning in. It's been Asa Swift, signing off.